Good morning, motherfuckers. We're live with the real King James, and we're doing some game development live. We're building some worlds. Well, building a single world. Single level. But, okay. If everybody's good. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to leave a like and comment. So today in this stream, I'm going to be trying my best to recreate a level from Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and I've been working up to this for quite a while. Feel pretty chuffed with myself. And what I want to recreate, or try to recreate in Unreal Engine, is this level from inside Unreal Engine 5. It was originally built in Unreal Engine 2.5 back in 2005. And this game was a big part of my childhood, and I thought it was a fucking fantastic game. And I want to try and recreate the level from the beach to the caves, from the caves to the bloody guardhouse, and then from the guardhouse to the outside, where you move from there to the lighthouse, and then the lighthouse. It's pretty procedural, so we start with the beach first, then we move to the caves, and then from the caves we do the caves. It's all going to be hit and miss as I go along. I'm learning things along the way. I'm not an expert in Unreal Engine. I don't know everything, as people would like to assume or believe that I do. I actually don't. But I love creative stuff, and I love being creative, and I like making things, and I like building things, and I really want to do this. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can today. I'm trying not to burn out my brain. But if you enjoy it, leave a like. If you learn something, leave a like. Subscribe, that always helps. Be appreciated. Help the numbers go up. So let's get into it. Most of the stuff that I'm using is free content that's available on the Unreal Marketplace, but I have also bought content as well, so I can add it in later on. There is a big massive sale on the Epic Marketplace, so if you're interested in getting some assets and stuff like that, quite a lot of stuff is out there that's half price and better than half price. A plug for Unreal Engine. Not sponsored by all means, but I will proudly endorse Epic Games and Unreal Engine because I think it's a fantastic piece of software. It's a great engine, and you can do so much with it, and it's going to help me learn things and learn processes and stuff and workflows. That's ultimately going to lead and help me be better at using this engine, so that I can create my movie, The Bloodline Bastard, which is about yours truly, the King of Scots. But telling a story. So I'm going to be learning about everything to do with cameras and angles and all sorts. But, this is going to be pretty long, because, it's all about building a world. As you can see, I've already got the water ready and the island set up. And in this, we're just going to be building Well, trying to build it as close as possible to this lighthouse level. So as you can see here, we've got caves, rocks and stuff, green lights, bridges, all kinds of good stuff that I'm going to try and recreate from scratch as best as I possibly can. We have all kinds, so like obviously there's not going to be any NPCs or anything like that, but I want to try and recreate everything as good as I possibly can with what limited assets I have. But I did actually make the dinghy. The first thing I did make was the dinghy, because yeah, I think it had to be done. So I need to put that back so I can see references. I've also got some rocks and stuff that I'm going to be using. So let's get building this level. So I need a good camera angle. Now usually what I would do is I would load the game up and have a look inside the game. But we don't have access to those kinds of tools, so it's all about good old-fashioned hand-eye coordination from a 2D perspective, and I'm going to try and make it as best as I can, but it might be a wee bit different compared to the original, but that's good because we don't want to be too like the original, but we want it to be as close as possible. So right now what I'm doing is I'm getting some rocks and stuff and creating some rock formations inside the engine so we can build up to creating this beach level where you start off. So, and obviously the caves are really massive, so we have to create it in such a way as where we've got paths and stuff where we can climb up and we can walk up as well. Which I thought it was kind of interesting when Chaos City first came out, because on the first mission, I don't know whether or not it was a development idea or an actual joke, but they actually have a disability access ramp. Which, and when you think about it, what kind of spy needs a disability access ramp? It's just one of those wee things that interests you, but also surprises you at the same time. So let's get building these procedural rocks now. So okay, we'll put that there, and then just move that up, and like that. Okay, we can get away with that there. Now I'm gonna need a bigger rock. I'm gonna need to scale this way up. So we will need another rock from here. We'll need to like place it somewhere actually. I need to move this camera that I've got, and I will want to position it where I can see the scene, so to speak. And I may need to just so 50mm prime, or maybe 30mm. Yeah. And that gives us a pretty wide range, so we can see in the camera viewport this one down here, so we can actually see what we're building from the perspective that I want to look at. Right, so there is like, so this part here should be I want that to be like somewhere there. We'll grab this rock. Rising up to the challenge of our own. Duplicate this a couple of times. Rotate that a little bit. See, because what I like about Unreal Engine is, like, when you're building stuff like this, you can really be precise with how you form things. And what we can do is we can just like combine rocks together, and it looks like different kind of rock formations. So what I'll do is I'll scale this one up a little bit, and we'll have that like that. Maybe you rotate that just so it looks a bit different. Look at that. It's a nice little rock formation that we got. Because right here is where we want to put the dinghy. So I save that. And if I open up the content drawer. Excuse me. You will hear me burping quite a bit, so I do apologise in advance. I can't help it, I'm not well. Oh, fucking hell. But, you know, it is what it is. So I have a model in here that I made. There we go. So my Suzuki 4-stroke dinghy. So I made this last night. So let's get this in there. So as you can see, we've got a big one. It's nicely modeled as well. So as you can see the branding on it and stuff, so it's shout out to Suzuki. So what we want to do here with this is we want to make sure it's to scale by going over here, because I did make it a little bit too small, so we have to scale it up in the engine, but that's not too much of a problem. I think a dinghy should be about that big. Yep, right. So now what we'll do is we'll take that, we'll put this over here, And what we want to do is we want to have it like resting against the rock. So let me adjust the rotation so it's not snapping, because we want to be able to accurately position this. All right. We want this to be right on there. Let's rotate that a little bit. Move that over. There we go. We have the boat settled nicely on the rocks. We'll save that. And that gives us our first actual real proper asset in the level. And we can also test it as well. We can run through the level. We can jump on the rocks. We can even jump in the boat. Now these were things that you couldn't do in the original Splinter Cell Chaos Theory game. None of the static meshes and stuff like that you could actually climb upon. But like with the rocks over here, we can run and jump on them, we can climb up them. Obviously they are a bit high, so there is that bounce back that you get, which is what we want ideally, because we don't want players to go out of the level, but we want to make sure that that ability to explore as well isn't too much hindered. Now obviously we can't get up that rock because yeah, it's way too big, but we can go around and we can take a look, we can move and stuff. But to be fair, I do quite like how the rock formation is now. Now if you do it a certain way, the developer's tricks, you can actually climb up. If I make it so, if we go here and then we do like a little run and jump, but we still can't do that. But what I will do is, well, what we can do is we can take one of these rocks, right, and we'll go over here and we'll move this over. And what we can do is we can make it so that there is like a little ledge that you can step up on. Because after all, it's a Splinter Cell game, so well, it's a Splinter Cell level, so we want to be able to do things like that, like catch a ledge so we can jump up. We'll move this over here, rotate that slightly. Alright, so if we just drop in there. Oops. There we go. Now we can get up there, sort of. Now, obviously, things like that will happen, where it glitches and stuff, but that's the beauty of making things. So, now we have this bit here. Now, because this one isn't exactly at a proper angle, you will slide down it like that. But I can fix that by getting this and just slowly just rotate that like that. And let me actually rotate that in a little bit. Now that gives us like this little ledge that we can kind of climb up. So if I drop in from here, oops. I might need to adjust the collision on these rocks, but as you can see, we can do it. It's just a little bit finicky, but looking at it, it's looking all right. But I wanna fix this. All right, let's drop in from here. Now let's try that. There we go. See? That's what we want. Now we can just run up it. Now, getting back up there, that's another question. So, to be able to get back up there, let's get that. Let's see if we can build. So we got that. Let's rotate that. Let's move that. Push that in there. Oh, that's way too far. There we go. Right, so now let's try that. So we got that. We can jump up there. And let's move this one down. Let's move this forward slightly. Pull this one out. Pull this one out. There we go. Now, obviously that's not working right there because you get stuck there. So, what we'll do is we will just push that down a little bit. Maybe do this like that. Now let's try that. Can jump up there, jump up there. I can run up. Sweet. So now what we'll do is we'll duplicate that and then again, I'm using entirely or mostly free assets available on the Epic store. So let's turn this one this way. Turn that in like that. So if we drop down there. Oops. Yeah, it does seem to be like the collision mesh is off, but we can fix that. That's neither here nor there. it seems to be if we have it at too much of an angle going up. So if we push that down, move this forward, that gives us like a bit of rock sticking out there. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, we have the seam coming together quite nice. Obviously it's going to take a while, so I will try and do this as quickly as I can. I can't make any guarantees. So we've got a nice bit of cliff rock there. Now what we can do with this bigger one is we can like push it down a bit. And then just pull it over a little bit there. And that looks more realistic. So now I can just drop in. Let's go for a run. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic. Again, the only way to get up, go back. Now, what I want to do is I want to get one of these. I'm going to bring one of these flatter facing rocks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate that. I'm going to bring that up here. We're going to use this to like cover some of the rocks, so that way it looks just a little bit different on certain sides. Let's duplicate that and we can bring that one down, rotate that around. So So that way it gives the rocks a bit of a personality, I guess. There we go. So they don't look too uniform, too much of the same. There we go. We have rocks, and this will help go towards building the cave as well, because we can build the cave from this kind of way of placing different sizes of static meshes. Obviously it's going to be a work in progress, so what I want to do is I want to build the next part, which is so I want to keep building this pathway, because in the original game you go up some sloped path, or you have blocks that you can climb up, and that leads to a pathway in, say, in here. So we will take that, that, and that, and we can duplicate these, and we'll just bring them out like that. Rotate. Okay, and then we'll take these and we'll bring these up like that. We will duplicate and then rotate, move, oops. Let's push these out. Turn that up like that, push them down. Again, I want to take this one. In fact, we're going to make this one a bit smaller. Oops. Oh, that's scale. That's better. And what we can do is we can like flatten it out a little bit. Rotate that up. Like that. What we can do is we can because since that little bit there seems to be a problem, we can take this block, push it down a bit. There we go. Now that should stop the problem with the collision mesh. So let's drop this here. Went down. There we go. There we go. That's good. That's what we want. Now obviously we don't want to be having to jump up this part. We want to be able to walk up it. Now as you can see, we've built the path that goes across. So now what I want to do at this part is create the slope that comes down. So we'll take this and take that round. Push this forward, push that up. Take that down. One more. Go down like that. So now if we test that, we should be able to. Now that's not letting us just walk up it there. It's letting us walk up it there. Right. So we want something like that. Let's have a look. There we go. Obviously we don't want to get stuck behind there, so what we want to do now is, you see this rock is here. So what we want to do is push this up, rotate it a bit. Just enough so it just blocks out the gaps where it's likely to cause a collision issue. So like that. Okay, so that walks up there, but it struggles there. So that's a collision issue, but other than that, you can run around and right through. Good. Now we get that little bit of, we get that a nice look there where we can see under the rocks as well, so we can put some foliage there, some plants and stuff. But we do need to just slightly adjust that, push that down. This, what we can do here is we can actually stretch it. Bulk it out a little bit. Push it down. Let's try this again. There we go. Now we can run up it. Now that's the kind of effect you want. You want it, if you run too fast, you'll fall off, because it's just like a real rock, like a real cliff. No. So we got that. That's good. now what we can do is where the cine camera is. We can now move the camera slightly. It's over there. We're gonna put that camera back there because we still want to be able to see things. So we just rotate it a bit. We'll in fact lift it up. It was like a top-down perspective. So rotate that a bit. Straighten that out. So what we can do is we can just do that on rotation. Zero out the rotation, and that was 15. That's 120. Okay. That looks good from that angle, so I know it's only a small rock formation right now, but we start small, we work our way around. So that's that part. What we want to do now is take another look at the reference footage. So next to this, rock, we do have another boulder. So that needs to go here. Let's rotate that a bit. Rotate this way. Say that like that. Push that down like that. See, every time I make a change or add something, I'm also saving it as well. Let's give that down like that. Go. Because we have a rock face there. Now obviously I'm making it slightly different from the original, but that's what you want. You want something that's unique but familiar, and it's a familiar game to me. So, and I really liked the Peruvian lighthouse mission. I think it was a quite comical one, to be fair. Because how it would be is you would spawn somewhere here in front of the boat, and then you'd walk around the boat. You'd have a light here, and you'd have the ramp here that got you up, but the ramp's now here, and you would have blocks as well that you could climb up, which was pretty small considering the map wasn't that big. So I'm hoping to make it twice the size, or make it appear to be twice the size. And obviously, when the level's done, I'll make it available to download, and you can play it in your Unreal editors if you like. So let's go. reckon that'll do for the steps. Just tweak some things, lower that one down a little bit, lower that one down. I reckon that's looking pretty good. I don't mind saying so myself. Now let's see how the stairs perform. Right, okay. So we can kind of climb up them. Now, what I want to do is actually try and get them down a bit lower so we can actually step up them. Now we don't exactly want to be able to just walk up them. We have to jump up them as well. So that one, yeah, okay. So now we'll just increase the height of this one. And we'll just push that in a bit. And this is actually demonstrating how you can mix and match different types of bricks and rocks from different creators to make something that actually looks really unique. So we'll get that one up, and we'll also put that one up there. We'll push that back a bit so that way that one blends in. Because we don't want them to be perfect. We can grab that one as well. We'll push these back a bit. Now from this angle, it's coming together quite nice. So now we have the sloped access path and we have the steps as well that we can jump up. So if we go and try them now. There we go. That brings us into the other side of the cave. Now obviously when the health system and everything is in, fall damage and stuff will happen. And so like if you jump off you'll lose health and stuff. But the run up, yeah, the run up works perfectly. Now I want to make sure that even if we run up from the corner, reckon that looks pretty damn good, if I don't mind saying so myself. And I think those rocks there kind of like add to the aesthetics of it. And obviously if you look from the bottom right corner here, we can really see how the scene is coming together, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. So now if I take another look, so we have a couple of rocks. Coming around here as well. So if we actually level that one out, rotate it around, push it up there. And then obviously in the original game there's like a fence here which stops you going out of the level. And there's also like a light that's just right here. And also some like debris, some bits of wood and stuff. And obviously some foliage. Now we do have some foliage. Now I'm trying to see from gameplay video what else is there. Unless I might have to actually fire up Chaos Theory just to have a quick look, which I could do since I have it installed. Yeah, it's oh. That's why. Okay. I was using Ninja Ripper on Chaos Theory to see if I could rip out some of the assets. Okay. Oh well. Never mind. I just have to go based on what I can see in a walkthrough. Oh well. Let's think. Perhaps we could get this. We could duplicate them, rotate them around. There. So we want to move these out of the way. That one out of the way. Delete that one. do is rotate that to about like that. Just move it around just a bit. And that gives us the gap that we can go through, like that. So we can delete that one. This, move these down. Push them up there, move them down there. Right, get this one, push that up. I'll take that a bit, push that up, rotate, because we want it to use itself to block you from being able to go past it, so you have to go the way we want you to go. So we move that up a bit, again rotate. Now what we do here is we rotate it like this. That, go, and we'll duplicate that and we'll push that down. We'll duplicate it again and we'll move this one. We'll rotate that so we get like a different part of it. Rotate it like that. Push that in, put it there. Push that down. Okay. And what we can do now is we can push that down. Get that and push that in there. And what we'll do here is we'll get this, push this over this way, give it a rotate. Turn it down a bit, and then we push it down. And look. There we go. So we want it. Save. Control Shift save all. Whee. Right, let's go. Up, up. Oh. Obviously afterwards, once we've built the environment, we can then get to work on creating the character, so we can replace the mannequin. But yep, this part's looking good. We can't walk through it or anything. Now what I'm thinking of doing is try and make some kind of barrier on the side, but obviously it's cliffs, so you know. So say towards here is where we're going to have it blocked off. So you can't go past a certain point. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Let's see what other rocks we have, because we have quite a lot of different environment rocks and stuff. So we got things for inside the mountains, inside the caves and stuff. Stones that drip and all the good stuff. We've got all different kinds of environments. And I'm looking at these. These kind of match what we're going for. So let's have a look at this one. See the size of it. It's pretty similar. Can we scale it up? Let's have a look at the size. It's not exactly the same color, but we can still use it. And because what we can do is we can adjust the texture and then just change the color a little bit. But because this is actually going to be a nighttime scene, it doesn't really matter too much about the colors, because when it comes to actually playing through it when it's nighttime, it's not really gonna bother me that much, because obviously when it's dark you're not really going to tell the difference between two colors, so it's perfectly fine. So things like that, you can afford the little overheads. So push this forward, duplicate that, turn that around. Bring this forward. Like that. Cool. Let's see what else we got. Let's have a look at the jungle rocks. Ah, they're good. That's what we're talking about. So we need something like that. So we'll turn that. Actually rotate it flat like that. Do that. do is we'll take this one from over here, and then what we can do is just elevate it, rotate a bit. Like that. Duplicate that. Pop. Just bring this along. Bring that along. Rotate that around a little bit, twist it around, so we can mix and match. So we can just duplicate that and then just give that like that. That's what we want. Now, go back over here to our other rock collections, and we can drop in things like this. So now the scene is looking a bit more fuller. So obviously we've got rocks that block the player from basically getting out of the map. Well, that's the idea anyway. An hour and 16 minutes. And then obviously when we get to this part, this is where there's going to be a fence and that. I do need to make a go and make a cup of coffee, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I needed to go make a cup of coffee. Nescafe Gold Blend, in case anybody's wondering. Strong, aromatic, full of fucking flavour. Right. So, let's get comfortable. Bloody hell. I think I've broken this chair as well. I go through these bloody computer chairs, I tell you. No seat is strong enough to hold the weight of this bloody king. Anyway. Right. So, we've got most of this outside level put together. We need some other bits too, but can you climb up it then? Alright. Let's see. Now obviously the movement won't be like that because he won't jump like that. I glitched it. I've glitched my old fucking project. Oh, well, that's not supposed to happen. Not supposed to bloody walk through it like that. Well, that must be... Yep, that's a collision issue. But anyway, you're not supposed to get up there. Or fall down there, fuck's sake. There we go. Right, a long way around. Let's go. Oh, for some reason I can walk through some of these rocks. No, that's not in the fucking game plan, is it? Alright, let's run back up. Alright, we can run up, no problem. There we go. Alright. So this is as far as we've got. So, thinking, I think we need to add some foliage. But we also need, like, a steel fence or something. Right, let's have a look and see what is available in the marketplace. Let's see if we can get these steel fences. We want something that's something that you would expect to find. See, if I think it's quality enough, I'll just buy it. So I'm looking at these. These look pretty good. Modular. Okay. Yeah, we could use them. I'll add them to my cart. £2.66. It's not too bad, to be fair. But we want sheet metal fences. Oh, hello. We have 368 meshes in there. Any of them that... Oh, well. Let's have a look. Not exactly the ones I want. Boom. Just what we needed. Corrugated sheet metal. Right, so we'll have that. Real engine 5.6. So we may have to import this manually, that's fine. Rusty metal sheet. Fences, free. Alright. We can use them. We can just use the fence. We'll have that. Oh, excuse me, I've got a phone call. that's the steel fencing sorted. Just got that little bit for free off the marketplace. Reckon that'll work. I think we need a couple of small rocks. Let's go find some rocks. So we just need a couple of small rocks just to put at the bottom of the fences. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that'll do. So let's just get those added on. I think that'll do for basic for the first part of the beach level. We do have some collision issues over here due to some of these rocks. The collision is very, very huge, which is a problem, but if we open up the static mesh and we show collision, you want to see collision. So apparently it's got complex collision, but it doesn't seem to be working right. So we'll do auto convex. Alright. Or what we can do is we can remove the collision Let's save that. Alright, now let's have a look. There we go. Collision's a bit better. Yeah, that's a lot better. So we go over here. Now obviously we can still jump over, which is not what we want the player to be able to do. So we get that, we duplicate that, we'll whack that one over there. Push that in, say there, and there. We'll duplicate this brick and push that back. Actually, we'll rotate that. Rotate it around. Maybe flip it upside down. That's looking good. Move that like that. Over there. There we go. We've got some bigger bounds now. I reckon that should be enough for this part of the level anyway. So it's coming together quite nicely. We can't jump over. Oh, we can. Okay. So what we're gonna need to do is we'll tilt this so that if the player does jump on it, it turns more slightly, has more of a sharper incline, it's more likely to push the player back. Pop that there. Go. Let's have a look at this one now. Okay, now we're outside of it, that's a problem. But what we can do is we can put up some invisible barriers. But I guess for the moment it looks alright. But we don't want it to be able to jump up there. But we will configure it so it's not able to jump that high. But that's what we want, that steep incline. So what we could do is push this back and push this one back, rotate that, duplicate it, rotate it up, have that over there like that, duplicate again, that, push that back a bit, push it up down there like that. Just gives a bit of a nice backdrop to the scene. Give that a little rotate. Reckon we can duplicate again. Duplicate becomes your best friend in this. rotate that around like that. There we go. Now, hopefully, duplicate that one. Grab that, push that up, push that around like that. Go. So if we run up here, oh dear, right. So we're going to need something like that. Grab that, rotate that like that. Could make it a bit smaller. So what we want to do is we want to block away any potential gaps like that. Duplicate that. Like that. Get this. Move that around like that. Push it down. Duplicate it another time. Rotate. Flip. Flip. Move that over there. And we'll try and make it a bit smaller. Rotate that. Go. Just push that in like that. Okay, so look. Yeah, the starting staging area looks pretty good. Within an hour, 2 hours, I'm pretty happy with that. I think step-by-step progress is progress. Now, let's just make sure that we can't just so there is ways to get out of the map, but now if you fall out of the map, that's different, but I'm gonna have to figure some creative ways to stop you going out of the map from this angle, from over here. So but from the main point, it's looking good. I know what to do. I know exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to get another one of these. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to try and get over here. Line that down like that. Bring it down. Flip it around. Push it up like that. See, should we shrink it a bit? Squash it. Squidge it. Go. So get that in there. Push that up. Move it down. Duplicate. Push it up. Move it down. Duplicate. Push it up. Duplicate. Push it across. Duplicate, push it across. Rotate that like that. Push that down. Push it in. Again, one more. We can move that one up like that. Move that out a little bit. So we've got that. It's looking good so far. Levels coming together quite nicely. So what we can do is we can run up here, fall down, great, and across, run through, all the way in. Alright, let's go back over here. Let's drop back in. We can also go up the steps. And this time we won't fall out. Ah. We need to make some room here for this step. This one. So let's make this one a bit small. Let's make that across. Alright. So it's this block. So we want to push that way, and then twist it round that way, and push that round that way. And get to this one, and twist this one up, and then we'll push it out. Same with this one, push this one out, rotate it. And we'll rotate this one. Do we even need this one? I don't think we need this one. We can delete that one. Because we have these others here. So, let's make the step a bit bigger. Let's try and push this one up a bit. Let's pull it out. Push it back down. There we go. Right, now let's try the stairs again. Up, 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 up. There we go. There we go. Okay, I think that covers the first part of remaking the Lighthouse mission from Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Rubber dinghy included, with realistic rubber textures. I think that's going to be it for today. It's 2.5 hours. My brain has literally burnt out, but this is what we're left with. And for one last look, let's go to the camera, pilot camera. That's how it looks from from the cinematic camera. I'd say that's pretty well done. Let's have a look at it in cinematic mode. As we can see, it looks really good. But I have it running on medium quality just so it's easier for scalability. But if you enjoyed watching, leave a like, leave a comment. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'm the Real King.